Short people got.
I got.
It's on! Hello!
Did that go quick? What happened to that?
Didn't it seem like it went faster today?
Yeah, like it's on.
Bonk. There we are.
May I begin?
Sure.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the June 7th edition of Disney Park Talk Live, the show in which we talk live about Disney theme parks. My name is Doobie, co-founder of Laughing Place. Down below, go ahead, you can say it.
No, as I say, and I'm Rebecca, and with us are our correspondents who always flex about how they get to go to theme parks all the time. Look at them both pulling out all their theme park stuff.
Those two people are over there. Mike Celestino, vice president of, not vice president, you're not a vice president, the man in charge of Southern California theme parks and Star Wars coverage and Marvel theme park coverage, and the man down there.
Can I at least be a comptroller?
Nice.
Sure, you're a comptroller. And the man down there, goodness, who covers East Coast for us and is also the vice president in charge of working on his birthday, is the one and only Jeremiah Good. How's everyone doing today?
Yay!
Hey, okay, Doobie, how are you?
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
So today is actually Jeremiah's birthday, and we are happy that he is taking time away from his very busy day to participate in Disney Parks Talk Live, because he's going to be needed today because he hasn't been to Avengers Campus.
Ooh, can I show you something fun, Doobie? Have you done this yet today? Check it out. Check it out. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. You see this? If I go to Jeremiah's Twitter, check it out. Woo!
Oh, wow.
Party.
That is cool.
Sorry, I blocked Jeremiah's face as I do that.
Can we set a birthday for LP for that?
Woo! There we go. Balloons from Twitter for Jeremiah. Okay, sorry.
August 1st. Whoever handles our profile, August 1st is our birthday.
I'm on it.
All right, so we are here to talk about many things Disney parks, as long as it is Avengers Campus, since that is really the only thing going on in the world of Disney parks right now. If you have any questions on Avengers Campus or anything else, please feel free to use those comments. Put them in there. We'll do our best to accommodate. And why don't we go ahead and get started? So I'm just looking around at our panel here. It looks like 75% of our panel has not been to Avengers Campus, but 25% has. So why don't we start with that 25%? Mike Celestino, did you get in?
We got in.
How
Can you
was
hear
it?
me?
How
yeah.
was it?
I have a lot of thoughts about Avengers Campus. I have some mixed feelings about it. I think it's going to take some time for the dust to settle a little bit. And like I was saying to Benji while we were there, they kind of just needed to... What's going on?
I'm just laughing at Mac's comment.
Oh. They kind of just needed to rip the Band-Aid off and have it be open. And now that it is open, I feel like I'm looking forward to it getting to the point where it's just kind of a land in the park that you can stroll through and not have all this attention on it, because I feel like that's just asking for disappointment.
That good, huh? So at least it is easy to get into, though, right, Mike?
Oh, no. So, okay, we got in line around 6:30 a.m.
This is opening day, right?
On Friday, opening day, yes. And then the park opened around 8. They brought everybody into the Esplanade there. Then we got in this line to get into the park. Once we were in the park, we lined up in Hollywood Land, kind of near the animation building. And that line winded down past the entrance to Avengers Campus. There you go. This is us in line. There you go. Progress down. You kind of get a tease walking past the entrance, and then it went past Cars Land all the way up to Pixar Pier, the Paradise Gardens Park, and the viewing area for World of Color. And that's kind of where we ended up sitting for another like 2 hours or so. And we, at that point, I really started to worry because the line just stopped moving. Like once the land hit capacity, obviously they weren't letting any more people in, and people weren't really leaving. So I was like, there's a chance we may not get in there at all today. But at some point around 10:30-ish, a cast member came around asking if anybody had any mobile orders for the food, and Benji and Alex had ordered food from Pim Test's Kitchen. So we said yes, and they said, well, if you have a mobile order, you can go into the land, which was contrary to the rules that we had heard earlier. But it worked. We went over there. We got in a different line. It was only like 5-6 people long, and they checked our mobile order, and they let us in. And that's and then at 11 a.m. we did our walk and talk live stream, and we were in there for the rest of the entire day.
Which I'm sure a lot of people were and contributed to the
yes.
And I wonder how, I mean, obviously that's really expected on opening day, opening weekend. I wonder how common that is as time goes on. I don't think most people who pay a full day's admission under normal circumstances want to spend their whole day either in line for a land or in a land the size of a Bug's Land. So yes, Jeremiah.
Mike, how difficult was it to get the virtual view for Spider-Man Web Slinger?
So that's the other thing. At 7 a.m., we took our first attempt while we were waiting on the harbor side of Disneyland to get in. We did not get a boarding group in that first attempt at 7, which was disappointing because it's one of 2 chances to get one. But when 12 o'clock noon rolled around, one of our 3 people managed to get a backup boarding pass for... it was number 145. So at that point at noon, it was, I think they had gotten up to like 30 something or maybe 40 something. So we were like right on the line. We were like doing the math of how many had gone by and how much time was left. And it was like right on the line of like, maybe we'll get in around like 8:30, 8:45. The park closes at 9 o'clock. So we did manage to get in the ride. And yes, our number was called around like 8:20 p.m. There we are in the line, in the return line.
Wow. And I'm just curious, how long did you wait in line once your virtual queue time was called?
It was a while because it's all this outside of the queue, and then you get into the exterior queue, which goes around the outside area of the ride, and then backstage they have an extended queue area. That took a while to get through. I want to say once we were in line, it was probably an hour at least.
Oh, wow.
And then some people have shared that they had access with food, but we'd heard since then that has not been the case. That the initial reports that mobile orders would not guarantee you access have been more applied in the recent days, and they've been, I guess, offering refunds rather than access.
Wow.
Rudio says that he noticed that the one side of the parking of the resort was gaining access earlier than the other side. I don't know if that's held up over time. Let's see, this group, they had backup group 155 and were told they wouldn't be able to ride, but they ended up getting on the ride around 5 minutes to 9, which is when the park closed. So patience.
Did he mean when he said Grand California? Did he mean people staying at the hotel?
No, he's saying he's really suggesting that you don't enter from the Mickey and Friends structure. And this is Rudio's experience. I haven't heard this like as a general rule, but he was saying that he found it to be a disadvantage to come in from that like DTD Grand Californian parking structure side as opposed to Harbor, which is interesting. I would not have thought that.
Here he's saying Grand California got to line up at the gate 20 minutes before harbor side.
Yeah, it sounds like you're saying Grand Californian hotel guests got the advantage, and then harbor, and then Esplanade, which I wouldn't be surprised by that. But it's all in flux. You can't. There's only so much you can go by what happens opening day, opening weekend. They figure it all out over the course of a couple of weeks, knowing that the way guests behave on that opening weekend is not the way guests are going to behave in general.
And another thing that I noticed was I would see reports food sold out for the day or that type of thing, and then I would see a tweet from a friend who had just bought it. You know, they would be like, "Oh, I actually just bought that item. Here's my picture." So, you know, I don't know where the fluctuation is in the experience. Is it a matter of things would kind of shut down for a moment in order to kind of catch up to the demand and then get back to it? Or was it a matter of it had been sold out, but then they replenished unexpectedly? You know, I don't know exactly how that all shook out, but I do know that there was a difference in some of those types of reports that I saw over the weekend.
Well, around like 6:30 or 7 p.m., I wandered over to the PIM test kitchen, and I just wanted to see the allergy menu, because we had people ask during our live stream if there was an allergy menu, and I was curious for myself because I have food allergies. And there's a cast member out front, and I asked about the allergy menu. He ran and grabbed it for me, and then he was like, "Let me know if you want anything, and I'll put you in line." I was like, "Okay." I hadn't planned ahead for that at all, but yeah, you could see there I got the gluten-free version of the Pimini sandwich, which was very good.
And this, you say, was very late in the day then, Mike? Closer to dinner time?
Yeah, this is in the evening, yeah.
So that's, just a little difference than some of the messages out there.
One thing I would love to know, and maybe you guys know, I have not been able to find out myself, if someone out there knows, what does it get to a point, forget opening day, but since then, has it gotten to a point where everyone who wanted to get in Avengers Campus could, even if it was only at 8:30 for a half hour or something, or did you have to make sure you got in line by a certain time to have gotten into the land? So if anyone knows the answer to that out there, would love to, because it's kind of a hard thing to decipher on Twitter, and I haven't been able to find that out. Because the ultimate in disappointment, going in the virtual queue, maybe you won't get on the ride, but if you go there and you can't even step foot in the land, that's just an insane disappointment. Jeremiah?
Well, this is very similar to when Pandora opened the first weekend, where the lines were forever, and we still had the lines to get on the ride when it opened, but the land was, the first day or two was landlocked, and then it just opened up to the point where anybody could go in. So I'm wondering if that is going to be the case, but with the social distancing, until June 15th, we won't really know what the world's going to be in DCA, and then it'll all change.
And it's such a small land too. But all right.
Mike, oh, sorry. I was just going to ask, Mike, could you maybe take us through a little bit of the energy of the land, some of the characters and visuals that you had? And I'll try and show pictures kind of accompanying what topics you bring up.
Yeah, I think most people are going to agree coming out of this opening weekend that the best thing about Avengers Campus right now is the characters and the shows. Because it's pretty frequent as you're wandering around that you'll either see characters hanging out, either up on the Avengers HQ building there, or even just around in the land itself. They usually, if they're in the land, they'll stand up on like elevated platforms. What's that?
I'm clicking on the wrong window. So just startling myself. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. And then there's also like shows that happen periodically. There's an Avengers show with Black Widow and Black Panther fighting the Taskmaster.
That's kind of like a stunt-ish show?
Yes, that one I would call a stunt show. Then there's also Spider-Man, who does a little performance on the Web Slingers building. And there's a show in the Ancient Sanctum with Doctor Strange, where he does like a little magic show type thing.
Can I ask a question about that one?
Yes.
So I was looking at a video, I believe it was your video of that, and it's like this thing comes up and kind of has a mind of its own and flies around while he's holding it. And I gotta admit, that looked really, really impressive on camera. Were you just making it look better than it was?
Well, Benji was calling it like birthday party magic, which is pretty close to the truth. It's very from what I know about magic, which is very little, but I'm a fan of magic. It's very rudimentary magic tricks. Nothing too complicated that a performer could step in and learn how to do pretty quickly. So yeah, I've seen that before. It's not that complex of a trick.
Okay. But it was pretty. What did you think of the Doctor Strange show in general?
I liked it. I would really like to see it at nighttime. We watched it in the afternoon, and I bet there are some cool lighting effects in after dark because it's part of the show, but you can't really tell when it's too bright.
How does the Stuntronic look in person?
It's further away than I would like it to be, I think. But it looks cool. I'm trying to think if I ever watched it outside of looking at my screen, because I was always trying to capture it on the iPhone for the Twitter and stuff.
Dedication. Thank you, Mike Celestino.
And I haven't looked at all the different views, but can you see the Stuntronic? Like, if you were on Buena Vista Street, would you be able to see him fly?
On Buena Vista Street?
In Glendale?
Yes.
Haha, very funny.
Like somewhere in that area, Hollywood Land, if you're looking at the right design.
Somewhere outside the land.
Yeah, would he?
You might not be able to see it from Buena Vista Street, but you could probably see it from just like immediately outside of Avengers Campus by the Grizzly Falls. What is that called?
Mm-hmm.
Also, does he really crawl in the boxes for like 5 minutes?
I don't think it was 5 minutes. The total show is like 4.5 minutes. So,
did anyone yell like the Steve Carell parkour?
I did not hear that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a fun one too.
Is he about to fly down there, Rebecca? I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah,
looking at your screen share, and I want
you
to
pull
share
it down at the best time possible, dude.
And there he goes.
And then the fourth show is the Dora Milaje from Black Panther, doing like a training type exercise thing.
I'm so excited to see this stunt show. I knew about Stuntronics, obviously, but just the general stunts. I mean, I've seen the Wild West show and all that, but the stunts they do here look so different. Trying to recreate the superhero feeling. I'm very excited about that. Okay.
Mike Mack says that he has seen video where you could see what was going on. They were waiting in queue to get in the land, and they were able to see the Spider-Man.
All right, so nothing to complain about. They saw the Stuntronic. They saw the best part even without getting in the land. Go home. Go ride Grizzly.
So yeah, lots of.
What is this one? Is this like a Jedi training academy involving guests?
It sort of involves the guests, but from afar. So they'll like walk you through a series of motions and things to yell, but nobody goes up there and joins them. So maybe that'll change after COVID. Yes, Jeremiah.
Wasn't that already a thing? Like everybody's like, oh, the Dora Milaje, they're there. When they first opened all the different meet and greets, they did some of that in front of the Jeep when it first started, I thought. Like, because they had them out there with the Black Panther, and when you'd be in line to meet Black Panther, they'd be out there kind of doing some of that.
It wasn't as long or involved as a show as this is, but they did march through the park and such before,
And they didn't have the Koei.
Is the Guardians dance party still there?
Yeah, they did the Guardians dance off. I saw that happening as well. Okay. It's cool to have that back.
And then I know there's a lot of just general character meet and greets such as they are these days. Can you talk about some of the various characters you saw in the land?
Oh, yeah, I saw everybody. We saw both Captain Americas, Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson. We saw Thor and Loki. We saw Iron Man. We saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, Black Widow. Who else is there? There's so many characters.
Doorman?
There's more.
Was Doorman there?
Whale Man.
And then they even have the classic Disney characters available in a Adventure Campus type vein.
Yeah, those are in Hollywood Land on the stage there, so they're removed from Avengers Campus, but they are dressed as fans of the Avengers.
And these were on the Marvel cruise.
Okay.
All at sea, those were those characters. It's like wait, where have I seen those before?
Is he wearing a Legends of the Hidden Temple shirt? The last one with the green shirt? It looked like a Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yes,
character.
yes, he
Okay.
was the green iguana.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I did not see Taskmaster outside of the stunt show.
Which one is Taskmaster?
He's the villain in Black Widow, the movie coming soon to
Oh,
Disney Plus.
no wonder I don't know
Premium
him.
access.
Okay. Makes sense.
Oh yeah, there's this.
Brand new map.
This is the opening day map. I don't
You get
think
one
this
for
will be
Gideon?
available.
I didn't ask.
Here, let me get Mike big here so we can show it off in person.
So Mike Mack did ask me to grab him one of these, and I passed the buck to Benji. So I hope he remembered because I sure did not. I feel
Opening day
terrible.
map. The end of the night, you grab like 150 of them.
whoa.
No,
Laughing Place
no,
does
Laughing
not
Place,
condone
no.
the hoarding of maps.
You grab 5 of them to give to Gideon and everybody else.
Much better. Let's take a closer look, Mike.
What I like to do is go to Disney Parks and download the PDF, but I couldn't find it this time around.
Very nice. Very nice. I know Mike normally doesn't eat that much in the parks because he's trying to get down to my size. But you did try some stuff today, including a drink. So can you talk about your experiences there?
Yeah. Oh, this Pim Test Kitchen. What would you call this? A beaker, I guess.
Yeah.
This came with the Particle Fizz, which is the one on the left, I believe. That's the one that I had. And then Alex had the one on the right. I'm not sure the name of that. And they both had popping pearls. Mine were at the bottom there, and Alex's are floating at the top. But I really liked mine a lot. I would have mine again. And as it tends to be the case with Disney Parks drinks, it was fairly strong, I thought.
Really? Oh, did not know that as a non-drinker.
This is from the Terran Treats outside of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Did you guys try these live? I mean, the beverages?
No.
I like pounded mine right before like started.
Oh, okay. So I'm like, what is Mike Mack referencing? Oh, that's really funny.
I don't remember. I need to go check that out. I don't remember how it starts. We did a live stream, by the way, about almost an hour. Mike had to get off before the noon so he could get his virtual queue. So you can go check that out. It's a really nice tour of the land. And you put up a separate daytime, nighttime tour of the land, right, Mike?
So it's a daytime / evening tour, I called it, because it wasn't quite dark when I shot the second part. But next time I go, I'm going to get a real nighttime walkthrough because maybe we can have Mac do that.
I'm upset about that one because I know it's great and I haven't seen it yet, and I know it's going to get a lot of views, and YouTube decided to copyright it, so I'm not happy about that.
So I debated whether to cut the music out, but I feel like people usually like to hear the background music.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't try these. Did your partners try these? Did you hear anything about how these were?
I did not hear from them. We should ask them what they thought about this. Can I talk about the background music?
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
please go ahead.
So after spending, we got in there about 10:30. We left about 9:30ish. So what's that? That's like
11 hours.
Yeah, something like that. Here's all I could hear in my head on my drive home. Don't
do too much. We get copyrighted.
I feel like when we were doing the stream, the only thing I could ever make out was like the main theme. I mean, there is a lot more than that, right?
It's very repetitive, but it is more than one track, but I don't know how long that loop is, but it's not terribly long.
I think I heard people comparing it to hold music.
Oh.
Or no, not hold, but like a DVD screen. You know how know the DVD menu screen. I think that was the comparison I saw on Twitter. I'm sorry, I don't remember who had that witty comment, but
that's about right.
Okay.
Those are annoying.
So it sounds like it's Juby's kind of theme music. I can't even imagine how cranky you would be if there was a really short music loop. Oh, I can't wait.
That would keep me from spending too much time in there, that's for sure.
I guess there's lots of Easter eggs in this place too.
Is there any dark Easter eggs?
Are they already destroying this place with graffiti? Is that what's going on here?
Yes, yes, exactly. That's what's going on there.
What is this?
This is outside the Web Slingers attraction. It's supposed to be Miles Morales' graffiti because he's signed his name there under the light. You can see his name, Miles, there.
Oh, okay. And then I'm glad we got Pim Kitchen. I was just going to mention Pim Kitchen. We got to go in there on our live stream and see the Bountiful Valley Farm.
Pim Test Kitchen.
Pim Test Kitchen. Thank you, Jeremiah, VP of Proper Nomenclature.
Things are large here.
Did you get to see the thing fill from the bottom, Mike?
No, and I went back several times to see, and it was never happening when I was there.
They're just teasing us. It doesn't. Shelly seriously can't wait to visit.
Seriously?
Mike Mack said something similar. Mike Mack, by the way, is our Marvel guy, and he will be there on June 16th, as California will allow Disneyland will allow non-California visitors on June 15th. So really hoping we get to do a live stream that day so we can check it out with the eyes of a serious Marvel fan. I know he spotted some really cool Easter eggs already that haven't necessarily made the complete rounds. He really knows this stuff well.
This is an example of one of those, as the team was sharing pictures from within Avengers Campus. Mike was, "Hey, that's pretty dark." And to which I'm pretty sure Benji said, "You should write about it." And so we have that article. Oh, I like the pin there, Mike.
Yeah, this is the opening day pin. There's also a shirt with the same logo on it.
Did you end up wearing your button?
No, I didn't bring it.
Smart move.
Did you buy the big pin, the jumbo?
Nope, this is the only one I got.
And then
and I got that reusable bag for my wife's mom who collects those. So
Nicely done.
I feel I feel like we've missed something about the land. Oh yes, did you rode the ride?
Yes. Yeah.
How was it? How was Web Slingers?
I enjoyed Web Slingers. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I really liked the setting. I really liked the backstory. I liked the pre-show. I liked the queue. The ride itself, I liked the way the vehicles moved. I thought it looked very cool and futuristic. And then the actual physical web slinging was fun. I enjoyed it. My arms got very tired very quickly. But I wanted to ride it again, which is more than I could say for like Knott's Berry Tales or whatever. Like that one I was like one and done. This one I want to go on it again. I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed it. It's not an e-ticket. But for what it is, I'm not a big fan of screen rides. I'm not a big fan of interactive rides. So for considering that, I did enjoy it. I am looking forward to going back and doing it again.
Breaking news, Mike Celestino says Web Slingers is better than Berry Tales.
I did like it more than Berry Tale.
How about compared to Millennium's Falcon, a ride I know you're not necessarily a huge fan of? But you are a Star Wars man.
Those would probably be about even for me, I would say.
I love that.
There we go.
One disappointing thing about the ride is that scene that takes place on the rooftop, we went on at night, but when you're on the roof, it's still the daytime. And I thought, like the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run attraction, they would adjust it depending on the time of day, but it's not like that.
Which is surprising. Maybe just who knows? Maybe a mistake, but maybe not.
You never know.
Because they did it with the ITS, they did it, Millennium Falcon, they did it. So it is kind of surprising.
Jeffrey wants to know, how do you compare it to Toy Story Mania as far as rewritability for Mike Celestino?
Yeah, the ride itself, once you're sitting in the vehicle, it's very similar to Toy Story Mania. You move from one screen to the next, you play out that part of the ride or that level, that scene, then you move to the next one. Each screen represents a different part of Avengers Campus. So there's one devoted to Pym Test Kitchen. There's one devoted to the Collector's Fortress from Guardians of the Galaxy. The one that's on the roof of the Avengers HQ. And then the fourth one, I guess it must be Web Slingers, I guess. But yeah, in that way, it is very similar to Toy Story Midway Mania. And another way it's similar is that people are probably going to be discovering a lot of little tricks and hidden things and different hacks to get a bunch of points and rack up high scores and stuff like that.
Did you or anyone in your party ride with the in-app purchase slingers?
Yeah, so Benji had bought one of them. I want to
Oh,
say
I
the
forgot to
Iron
download
Man
that
one.
pic. Hang on. Yeah.
And it allowed him to shoot electric webs instead
cool.
of just the. But I do want to say, of the three of us in the car in our row, I had the highest score. Benji was second, and Alex was third. So his purchase didn't necessarily give him the advantage of, and he had been on it once before. So I must just be a natural, you know.
Yeah, there it is, Mike Mack. No one cares like you, right, Mr. Max it out. Is it obvious when you're shooting your web where you're shooting? Do they do a good job of matching your motion and, you know, so you can know exactly
what's the learning curve? Yeah, what's the learning curve on that?
I can tell it's coming from me. It was that's Benji with the goggles and the gauntlet on. Yeah, I would say there's a little bit of a fine-tuning learning curve to know exactly like where you're aiming, because there are, in addition to all the regular spider bots, there are these little green spider bots that have gotten into the alien goo, and those are worth a lot more points. So
Nice.
I was always aiming for those, and I was just always like slightly off. But Alex said that he was able to hit some of those. So I think it's gonna take a few times through before I feel really confident in my aiming.
If you haven't seen our Barely Necessities last week, Alex actually showed up, and so we have with the Spider-Man goggles, and so you can see how they blink, they wink, they have like stars, they have like angry eyes, so you can have quite a bit of fun with these ridiculous Spider-Man goggles, not just the illuminated look that you have here.
Don't forget to pack your angry eyes.
Right, exactly.
One side benefit of the way they've laid out Avengers Campus, if you're a huge fan of Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, if you're able to get into the land, you can just ride that over and over to your heart's content, because they've made that a part of Avengers Campus, and most people aren't there to do that, and so the queues for that are much shorter than they typically are.
What have they been?
Well,
I mean,
I will
you
say,
guys have been paying attention, yeah?
In the morning, it seemed like we were checking the wait times, and the wait for Guardians was very short. But by the time Benji and I went on it, it was probably mid to late afternoon, and we waited probably 30 minutes. So
Okay.
They've also made a couple of changes to Mission Breakout in the current COVID era, where you don't have the pre-show. Apparently, you can scan this QR code, Mike.
yeah, so playing on the TV in the Collector's Fortress in the office is that QR code. So you don't get to see the rocket animatronic, but instead this will come up on your Disneyland app, and it kind of walks you through the basics of what you need to know. We were also told after we got off the ride by another cast member that the ride is slightly longer now, which I don't know if I noticed it myself, but I took their word for it, and next time I go on it, I'll try to pay a little closer attention. But
Wow.
maybe you do get one or two more drops in there.
4:30 Pacific time right now. Guardians is 20 minutes. Mike and Silly to the rescue, 40 minutes. So choose wisely.
Look at
That's
Jeremy.
mostly because of the queue. I mean, that is like, I feel like that is, oh look, there's a queue outside. Let's get in it. We don't know what we're in line for.
Question. So Jeremiah, many
Look at Jeremy.
it was great.
He's just so disgusted. I'm so disappointed in you people at the Disneyland Resort.
A lot of you may not know this, but Jeremiah actually was an Imagineer for several years and is an expert on many things related to theme parks. So I would just, even though
Especially
he's
attractions that were redone with like a shoestring budget and just reskin Drew Carey. Hey, anybody seen these human?
But what's really fun about this one right now is because of COVID, there's no indoor queue. So it's all that outside queue, and then you just like run through to your taxi cab. So so bizarre. Very,
But,
yeah.
Yes.
but I do have a question for Jeremiah. I know you haven't been there, but because of your vast experiences, you just have a sense of theme parks and zeitgeist and fans and such. So I'm just curious, 4 days in, just your impression of Avengers Campus. How it's being received.
I think sadly it's being received kind of badly because when you open up and there's a line for the entire day to get into a land to try to get a giant pretzel or shawarma that nobody knows what it is, and I think on my side of the world, watching the Diz Twitter and everything, it was failure, where you look at the opening day of Galaxy's Edge and they had the return times and they had the entire park was empty and it was beautiful, where this is, in this day and age, cannot believe people were paying, what was the one-day ticket for that, $150 that day? And they were waiting in line for 8 hours to try to get in to hopefully see Black Widow walking around. And that is one of those things that dumbfounds me.
Not what I expected, Jeremiah.
The land looks amazing. No, trust me, I've been looking at airfare after June 15th to get out there as quickly as possible because I want to see this place firsthand. I still don't even understand how it's all laid out. I don't understand where its Tough to Be a Bug is or where the tractors may be. Apparently, there's also a Heimlich choo-choo train in the queue, and things that
some 3D goggles from Bugs, Tough to Be a Bug. Yep, all kinds of things you can find.
It's interesting, and I feel like the ride itself is not getting as much dislike as I expected, which I'm very happy about. Mm-hmm. But the logistics of it, and it's sad. That's not even the land. That's just the logistics is what's taking the heat. And I'm not even, and rightly so, in my opinion. I don't know what the solution is, but I feel like Disney could have a better solution than they have. Maybe it's not worth it if everything's going to be normal, in a week. We'll see. But like I said, if I showed up there, paid my $150 and didn't get in the land, I know I'd be upset. Or even if I had to wait 5 hours to get in it, and that's how I had to spend half my day, I'd be upset.
I'm very interested to see what normal operations look like, because we saw with Galaxy's Edge, I think I know I anticipated, after being in Orlando for Harry Potter, that I envisioned it being a lot longer before you could just wander into Batuu whenever you wanted. And it was a very short window. I want to say it may have even been just a single day where you had to have like a specific time window that you were permitted. Yeah, I don't think it lasted very long at all. But I'm curious to know how long Avengers Campus is going to be challenging or will it be challenging to access? How will they handle the demand come June 15th, 16th, as we see out of towners be able to come? So that's going to change your dynamic a little bit. And then with California theoretically making adaptations to stuff, just how will we see Disney parks adapt, and how will that impact Avengers Campus? Which, as a consumer, it's very challenging, because I'm hesitant myself to try and figure out when do I want to go, because I know for me, if I'm going to see Avengers Campus, I want to give myself the best opportunity I can to access Web Slingers, and I just don't know how long I should consider waiting before I do. With Galaxy's Edge, I went kind of with the expectation I wouldn't see that. My day was about many, many other things, and then going to Jeremiah.
Sorry,
No, it's okay.
I jumped off that because the things that we're seeing the virtual queue on Rise the Resistance is a half-hour experience. I haven't watched all the videos for Web Slingers. Is it a people eater? Is it a long load? I know with the capacity issues where if you're one person, you have an entire cart. But when June 15th and everything's all better in California, is it a continuous load or is it a slow load, Mike?
Do you mean does the vehicle stop?
Yeah, like how long is the load time for it?
It's not long, but it does stop. It's not an Omni mover. It is stopping in front of you. The doors open. People have to get out. The next row has to get in. So it probably stops for, I don't know, 30 seconds.
And it's an 8-person vehicle?
Yes.
With both sides? Okay.
Well, each car is 8 person, and I think the cars go individually.
But it's just one lap bar. Is it like bench seating basically?
Yes.
So I still wonder. I can't imagine they're like going to do single rider there with bench seating. To fill up 8 people in the vehicle. If you're a party of 2 or 3, that they're going to make you share with someone else.
No, they have single rider line for it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's just I've never seen that with like a bench seating.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even with currently with Toy Story Mania, I mean that queue at California Adventure, 10 average is it's a long. I mean, it's not inaccessible, but it is a longer wait. Am I right on that? That it still has a hefty wait when you get to, because I know, and in Florida, for a while there, it was not quite as challenging because of the opening of all the other attractions there at Toy Story Land. It had dropped in demand a little bit, so it's closer to an hour than for a while. Toy Story Mania was. I didn't even ride it unless I could get a fast pass. That's how long the line was.
It's got a pretty long queue right now. In fact, it's rivaling Mike and Sully to the rescue for queue time right now, Toy Story Mania, Jeremiah. Couple other things I wanted to say. It's fun to look at just Twitter Avengers Campus and just look at the roll. People are so excited, not Disney fans, just people seeing this on the news or whatever who love Marvel, who love Avengers. People are so excited to go ride this, to go check this land out in person, to see where the Avengers train. And that's really exciting to watch. Mm-hmm. And I'm honestly surprised that they did not reconfigure the land temporarily to make Guardians accessible to everyone, to kind of peel some people off, give more people a place to go. Because the rest of the lines in the park are pretty high these days. And I'm surprised they didn't temporarily. I know that it's very important for them to make it clear that Guardians is a part of Avengers Campus. But at least until things get a little calmer, I kind of expected them to try it on Friday, realize, we need to give people a place to go, and separate it out.
I think a big part of that is giving people a place to go once you're in Avengers Campus, because there's not enough seating at Pym Test Kitchen, so everybody has to go over to the Hyperion Theater courtyard, which is now set up as the Pym seating area, the extra seating area.
That's very fair. That's fair. And during the live stream, you can see when he's in the new part of Avengers Campus, it's packed. And then he kind of goes around and goes to the Guardians area. Other than that seating, which is pretty full, it's pretty empty. So anyway, any other AC Slater talk before we move on to something else?
I think what I ended up really appreciating once we were, because a lot of the time that day was spent kind of sitting and waiting. Mm. But my favorite parts of that were sitting and kind of looking at the new buildings and appreciating the layering of the history of the land, because, they have established that in the fictional history of Avengers Campus, it used to be the Stark Motors complex. So you can see in the buildings the foundation of that complex, and then what Avengers Campus added on top of it in the fictional history. And that's the kind of stuff that really clicks with me. And there's the map of the Stark Industries complex.
Where's the chemical plant? Is that where the gamma radiation is seeping out? Is that part of the old chemical plant, or is that the Stark Motors building? Oh,
the gamma tube comes out of the pipe comes out of the Web Slingers building, which is Stark Motors. I think if you were to zoom out from this image, you would see that.
Mm-hmm.
This is the nerdiest land Disney's ever built, right? This surpasses Star Wars, Avatar Land, anything else, correct?
Yeah, there's a lot of deep dives in this. Star Wars, because it's not set in the, in the main universe that we know. they don't have a lot. There's definitely some small nods, but this is, I've been trying to avoid every spoiler because Mac has done an excellent job of capturing just about every spoiler possible, and I want to go and try to find things, but
I'm gonna disagree with that and say, having gone through and tried to list all of the Easter eggs in Galaxy's Edge, there are probably more in Galaxy's Edge than in Avengers Campus.
Fight. So we're going to have dueling live streams on June 16th with Mike in Galaxy's Edge and Mac in Avengers Campus, and we're going to keep a tally of the Easter eggs that they find, and that'll be
Doc Ondar's alone has thousands, and that's just one building, and there's really nothing like that in Avengers Campus that's like jam-packed like that.
Can I go back to a point that Doobie made because I was busy trying to find this map so I could argue with him?
You're going to argue with me?
Yeah. So I think it would. Well, it might be nice to do the whole Tower of Terror.
Mm-hmm.
If you look, this is the gate that you would. This is one of the gates to come into this land. Right. This is the other gate to come into this. This is where Doctor Strange is. This is where Web Slinger entrance is. I don't know how you would do a whole access to this area while keeping. Yeah, I just don't see how you could at this time really kind of corral it in.
You can't see my mouse right now, but
correct.
If you could, no, I'm not saying they could.
Yeah.
Easily. I'm not saying they could easily if there's a natural way to do it. Maybe there's no way to do it.
I was trying to see if I could zoom in. I can't figure out how to zoom in on this.
Especially with the requirement to keep the seating at the Hyperion. I was thinking you would kind of shift out the Hyperion along with Guardians and just kind of, put up some roadblocks or something. But, you've got to keep the seating at the Hyperion. It's not going to happen. It's not.
Because but my question for Mike is there still a way for the trolley, or is the trolley gone?
Oh no, the tracks are there, and I'm pretty sure the intent is to bring that back.
Yeah,
he showed us the door.
The door goes right into the Avengers HQ building, so I'm pretty sure eventually that will happen.
I mean, it could fit thematically and whatnot with the way that they've kind of laid out the story, so it would be sufficient. But I just hadn't seen the live stream. Apparently, I need to do more homework.
Can I ask Jeremiah a quick question? Would you recommend people wait 40 minutes for Mike and Sully to the rescue or Emotional Whirlwind?
I would actually say Mike and Sully to the rescue because it's more than a 90-second spinner that's reused. This is a 2-minute reused animatronic attraction.
Okay, thank you, Jeremiah. All right. Speaking of Jeremiah, let's move over to SeaWorld. What was the media event you went to, Jeremiah?
The SeaWorld Electric Ocean. It's the reoccurring their summer special event they have each year. Last year they had a smaller version. This year it kicked off the end of May, and they have fireworks. They have some great shows. They have Elmo Rocks, which go watch this video on our YouTube. It is one of my favorite shows that I've seen in a theme park in a really long time. I know. Trust me, I walked into this going, I'm going to have to videotape Elmo Rocks. Yes, Doobie.
Is it better than Spider-Man Rocks?
And I fell in love with it because it tugs on your heartstrings because they do, Sesame Street, but it's also really cute. And this show's been around since, I think the first time it showed was 2009 or 13. I've seen different, see, look at Cookie Monster. He's a rapping. Right there. I actually complained to a employee of SeaWorld saying, I want to meet and greet Bert and Ernie in their gangster costumes. Seriously. It took a lot for me to not just go and see the show again. It's that cute.
Okay.
But anyway, so I went for the Electric Ocean. this was thanks to On the Go and MCO, Shelly. She invited us along. And we're sitting there waiting for Electric Oceans, and we get the first email saying, okay, the press or the media event's going to be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Electric Ocean, the first stuff, other than Elmo Rocks and one of the small things, starts at 6. The main stuff starts at 8. The fireworks are at 10. For anybody who's never been to a media event, usually it's boom, boom, boom. You don't have time to breathe. They keep you moving. So 1 o'clock, we're all kind of wondering. We're thinking possibly something with Icebreaker, the coaster that is not to be mentioned or talked about by anybody at SeaWorld, apparently. So we go in and we sit down, and I put the video up on our YouTube so you can check out the entire thing. But one of the PR people comes up and starts talking, and the lights start flickering. And I've been to so many, and all three of you would probably feel the exact same way when you start to see the kitschy stuff, and you can tell the person is reading a script, and it's like, oh my goodness, what's going on with the lights? And we all just kind of like, okay. And I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be spooktacular. SeaWorld's daytime Halloween thing that's all cutesy, and they're going to do something. So all of a sudden, the lights are going in and out, and they go pitch black. They pull down the curtain. They push out the stage. They have the sirens come out, and they start wailing, and they have characters come out and get in my face and are screaming bloody murder. Like, not just it was scary. And they announced that Howl-O-Scream is coming to SeaWorld Orlando for the first time ever, starting September 10th. They didn't have a lot of information about it. I mean, the stuff we got in the press release was almost more than what they could tell us, because both the PR people and the entertainment people were like, there's going to be more information to come, aka we're not completely sure what's happening. But they are going to have houses.
Sorry, wrong button.
This was really the only thing they had, and it was a Siren's Kiss. It was an alcoholic drink that everybody said was very good, and they had some of the characters out doing photo ops. But I've been doing this for 7 years. I know Mike's around that time. You guys have been doing this since the late 90s. This was the first media event that I ever went to that they actually swerved us, and nobody had any clue of what was going on. This is the trailer they showed us, and we were really impressed.
Yep, pretty spooky stuff.
Nothing like evil is calling to brighten your day.
Yep. Oh, this is not. As long as it doesn't filter too much into my daytime at SeaWorld, because I do not want icky.
And that was one of the things, the only thing really that they confirmed to us is Spooktacular will happen during the day for the kids, so they can still come and enjoy everything. And then Howl-O-Scream will be a hard ticket event in the evening, just like it is out at Busch Gardens and some of the other Busch parks, as Kidder points out that I know San Antonio had Howl-O-Screams, I believe, and San Diego at one point, years and years ago, had a scary house, but you could do that during the day. This will be a hard ticket event with houses, scare zones, everything. So Mac and I are going to be very busy this Halloween season.
Creepy.
Lucky you.
Happy birthday, Jeremiah.
Is it Jeremiah's birthday today?
It is.
I was not aware of this. Which one is it?
It's this one. Not quite to you yet, but I feel I'm right around the corner from you.
Luckily, you'll never. Oh, look at that! Never catch up.
What else do you want to talk about, Mr. Doobie?
I think the only other thing I wanted to mention is this Disney Plus series that's coming. What's it called? Rock Around the Behind the Attractions?
Yeah, sure. That's it.
Yes, Rock Around the Attractions is produced by Dwayne Johnson. If you didn't mean that, I'm very impressed with that.
No, that is exactly what I meant.
Okay.
Behind the Attraction coming, July 16th?
Yep, the day before Disneyland's birthday.
and they're going to go behind the scenes of attractions with some never before seen interviews and fun stuff like that. Is The Rock actually hosting it?
I don't think they've given much information.
Okay. So Disney Plus kicked off with the Imagineering series, which was phenomenal. And then they haven't done a whole lot since then with the theme park. So it's kind of exciting that here we are a little over a year and a half later, and we have our next theme park series where the geeks like Jeremiah can go behind the scenes. So I'm sure we'll be covering that like crazy come July 16th, doing full reviews. I'm getting there. I haven't forgotten about that, Jeremiah, doing full reviews and all that. So want to mention that. Anything else theme park related from the week? The week was so dominated by Avengers Campus.
Well, I just wanted to ask, over under, it says the true stories you don't. Over under our team, there will be a story on this thing that someone on the LP team doesn't know. Like, yes, no, two.
There are a few attractions on there that I'm actually surprised that they're doing, because there's like the Hall of Presidents is one of the episodes. So I'm guessing that we'll hear something, but I want to say that the chances of me hearing a story that I've not heard, or you guys hearing a story that you can't recite to us because you guys went to all those Disneyana things and heard Bob Gurr talk every time, it'll be, for us, probably not, but I think for the average guest, it'll be a great thing.
Oh, I'm not. I go and hear those stories all the time. This is not meant in any way to disparage it. I was just curious what if you guys thought, because I mean, quite honestly, there were elements of that Leslie Iwerks kind of Imagineering. They were able to show us things that we hadn't seen before. Maybe some of the stories may not have necessarily been unfamiliar, but they were at least able to, you know, kind of show us a little bit more than we had seen before. So, you know, I was, like I said, I was just kind of curious what, you know, how were you coming into this? Are you coming into this thinking it'll be a refresher course, or are you coming into this expecting to learn something?
Because of the attraction selection they have, including, by the way, one of my favorite attractions, the Disneyland Hotel, I feel like I'm set to learn quite a bit. The Disneyland Hotel I expect to be really good. Hall of Presidents, as you said, Jeremiah. Tower of Terror, I mean, even though it's well known, it's one of the newer, still, it's not a classic. So I feel like, you know, there's no e-ticket on the Tower of Terror. So I still feel like there's a lot. Does anyone on this panel even know what the e-ticket magazine is? I still feel like there's a
Jeremiah.
lot.
I was going to say Jeremiah.
I may have to move a couple of things, but I've got a few over there.
There's a lot to be learned there without even delving all that deeply. So, yeah, and then the castles, considering all the castles that have been built, you know, over the past couple of decades. I think there's a lot to be learned here.
Celestino, the episodes are going to feature Jungle Cruise, Mansion, Star Tours, Tower of Terror, Castles, Hotel, Space Mountain, Small World, Trains, Trams, Monorails, Hall of Presidents. Taking off this list, Mansion and Star Tours, because I know that you are passionate about both of those. Which of these would be like the next in line, which you're excited to learn about? Like I say, just throw away that they're like, you know, the throwaways, Mansion and Star Tours.
Even including those, I might say Tower of Terror.
Really?
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Jeremiah? Which one of these did you go, yeah, I'm excited?
I really, the Hall of Presidents, because that's out of those. I mean, I worked at the Disneyland Hotel, so the history of that has been something that's been close to me, and everything else has been pretty well documented. Hall of Presidents, we kind of know the history, like before 71, but the actual creation of it and the stuff that's happened, especially in the past few decades, will be very interesting to see how it was approached to speak with the former presidents and to get them to talk live.
That's a good point.
How about you, Doobie? Which one are you excited about?
Probably Tower of Terror, but the one, no, I want to see the hotel, the Disneyland Hotel. The Disneyland Hotel is a special place for me. I used to go there almost all my visits to Disneyland, or at least my weekend visits. Go over. See, it was good back in the day. I would park at the Disneyland Hotel after work, right under the monorail beam, take the monorail into the park, spend a few hours there, come back, go buy a 35-cent lollipop and get my parking validated. And I was living the life. So
Wait, and if the monorail was backed up, you would take the parking lot
Just
tram
take
to
the park-
King Louis
Right.
and walk
Yeah.
across the street.
Yeah.
But that was before they moved the monorail station, right?
Shut up. So, and then but Stromboli's, I used to spend all my time at Stromboli's, man. Half the people at our wedding were servers at Stromboli's.
There were a lot of servers from Stromboli's.
I can remember the final day of the Monorail Cafe, opening of Hook's Point, which is now closed.
I have the last can of Guinness served at Neon Cactus. I cut it up, put it in a scrapbook. I still have that.
So we've been to wedding reception up there.
Mm-hmm.
We've had LP events in multiple places there. So that is really special, memorable place
holiday
for me.
buffets.
And I am looking forward to learning even more about such a special place to me.
Mike Farnham says it's a small world for me. Honestly, it's the castles. I'm intrigued to see what kind of information and everything that will come out of the castles, especially if they provide more knowledge on the murals, the Dorothea Redmond murals at Cinderella. I can never hear too much about that, and I treasure the fact that I got to tour the castle suite. Someday I would love to stay there, but I got to tour. The one thing I got to do that was cool, Doobie's got to do so many cool things. This is the one thing that's cool. He acts like Talk to the Hand.
Doobie, we have pictures on our website.
And by the way, I got to tour it when it was all set up for Good Morning America. So there were like camera equipment everywhere and enormous lights. It wasn't very picturesque.
I got to sit on the toilet.
Well, happy for you.
Don't go in there.
But I saw the mosaics which anytime I can see. If you haven't realized this yet, mosaics. That's the way to Rebecca's heart, is through mosaics. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
We also hint on the announcement today of the EPCOT International Food and Wine Festival coming July 5th through July 5th of 2020.
Don't you mean Taste of?
No, Doobie. It's a real festival.
It's back.
With kids events and activities and
That's
everything.
A really good picture. I love
Isn't
that
that
picture.
cool? I love this picture.
I took that picture, actually.
Yeah, sure you did.
Yeah.
Nice.
Was it when you bought your sparkly magic band too? Yeah, that was all announced today. A lot of the information. Remy's Hide and Squeak is coming back. The Fromage Tour. Mike is going to come out and eat a lot of cheese.
Eat to the Beat is back? Oh, no.
No. So that was one of my other things is the Eat to the Beat. And it's the bandstand, which has been going on during the current Taste of Flower and Garden, which I apparently have not been to EPCOT on a Thursday through Sunday in the evening because is that even happening? Did that get canceled? Because they made the big thing when they did the first announcement of the different bands and the titles, and then they kind of backed off, and then they just called it the. I didn't read what Mac wrote yet.
Don't wait a while.
I didn't. They backed off and just called it the bandstand, and I miss bands that I really wanted to see. So they're continuing pretty much the same thing where it's local bands. So it should be exciting, and hopefully by the time that rolls around, our capacity will have changed. I mean, we've got no more temperature checks, no more masks outside. Probably not too long until Disney adopts the Central Florida no masks indoors, but we have not heard information about that as of yet.
We have seen that Walt Disney World, and you may have just mentioned this, but I was looking for some information, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating you, but that the masks for theaters that are outdoor, indoor type, like, for example, if we're seeing the bird show at Animal Kingdom, they are not requiring that you keep a mask on for venues like that at this time, which to me would also mean American Gardens. So
yeah, that's one of the things.
Which is
nice. They changed that quietly, and so we're kind of trying to keep track of all the different changes as it goes through, because we've seen announcements not happen, but then we look at what you must and must not do while you're at the parks, and it says something completely different than what we've been experiencing for the past year now. So hopefully we will see what comes next. I know that I went to Universal and SeaWorld. But I went to SeaWorld, and that was the first time I'd been somewhere that didn't have the mask indoor policy. and it was very strange walking into the stores and not having a mask up.
Mm-hmm.
A good strange.
I guess
Yes.
we're getting ready to wrap up, right, Doobie? I have just have a couple of items that I was going to highlight before we signed off, so I don't know what you had left.
I just wanted to ask Jeremiah one more question,
Yes,
if I could. Mike and Silly to the Rescue, still 40 minutes, or Silly Symphony Swings, also 40 minutes?
Ooh, I like Silly Symphony Swings, but it would be a tough choice.
Okay. And by the way, Guardians now 15 minutes.
Rebecca or Doobie, who should I send this picture to via Slack?
Rebecca. No, me. Doobie.
Yeah, send it to Doobie. Mike Max says that he rode the Velocicoaster without a mask. It was very weird.
Imagine how the other guests felt having to look at you.
Over at Shanghai Disney Resort, they've announced a new in-park theater live show, The Storybook Adventure. You can read about more on that at Laughing Place. And the Shop Disney has unveiled a new dress, which I had right here. Let me pop it up. I'm very excited about this dress, so I have to share it with everybody.
Is it the Lilo and Stitch dress?
No, well, yeah, I'm excited about that one too, but no, this other one really I'm much more happy about. It is Tomorrowland, and they have an East Coast and a West Coast version, a Disneyland version, and a Walt Disney World version.
I like that a lot.
And it is really, really cool. Yes, Jeremiah.
While we're on the Tomorrowland dress, completely forgot why I wasn't here last week. I was up in Seattle at the Museum of Pop
Oh, that's
Culture,
right.
covering the D23 Walt Disney Archives Villains and Heroes costume display, which is amazing. I saw it. Mike and I both saw it at the D23 Expo. I think you guys snuck out to the floor and saw it at some point. And it covers all the costumes from the original Mary Poppins right up to the Tim Burton Dumbo. Beautiful displays. It is a reason to go to Seattle other than just go to Space Needle, because I went mostly for the Space Needle. But
and chowder fries.
Oh, chowder fries. Yeah, beautiful display. They focus mostly on Cinderella because out of all of the live actions, I want to say Disney has 5 different Cinderellas now, ranging from Brandy to the latest live action adaptation. And just the displays, how it's set up. If you saw it at the D23 Expo, it is almost all of the same costume. Well, it's all the same costumes. They added some new magical touches, including a ability for a magic mirror that puts costumes on you. I didn't take any pictures of that, but if you watch the live stream, you can see it happen. And but if just beyond that, the Museum of Pop is amazing. They have Ghostbusters stuff. They have original Star Wars stuff. I spent hours in there, not just on the costumes. So head up there, check it out. It's through next year. Yes.
Did they have any Family Matters stuff?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, just curious. Can you show Max, Rebecca, can you show Max comment about the castle? Now, I don't know how much experience Jeremiah has going to the bathroom. This is going to be very messy.
Oh, you guys are so mature.
Yes, we are.
Oh, man. Oh, happy birthday, Jeremiah.
Thank you, guys.
I think we're done. Are we done?
Okay, so let me remind everybody, if you enjoyed this, can you hit us a thumbs up? Give us a like. We greatly appreciate it. And if you're interested in more Disney fun, be sure and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We've got constant new content coming out all the time. Tonight we've got earlier today I think we said we had Disney Trivia Live, but we actually have Movie Talk later tonight. Tomorrow we have Disney Trivia Live. Jeremiah and Mike C are constantly going to various parks and taking you along with them. Mike, do you know where you're heading to next? I think I muted you, or maybe you muted you.
Sorry, I did it because the lawnmower was going by outside.
No worries.
Universal Hollywood, Thursday.
Yay!
Very cool.
Exciting.
How about you, Jeremiah? Where are you taking our
I will be at
watchers?
Disney Springs tomorrow as Disney Springs celebrates Pride Month. Taking a walk around there, checking out some of the merchandise, some of the displays, some of the good food, and just looking at the beauty of Disney Springs.
Oh, sounds lovely. Disney Springs is always so beautiful. I always am torn between eating inside a location or if they have a patio. Do I want to eat outside? It's like that struggle that I have whenever I'm there because I enjoy the energy of that place so much. Doobie, do you have anything to share as we sign off? I'm going to give you the final word.
Yeah, I feel like our schedule is all whack. It does not show Jeremiah, and then where it does show Mike, and it's all messed up. Okay.
Wiggity wiggity whack.
We have Slack for that.
Let's see. Tomorrow we have Disney Trivia Live. You already said that, but our topics, we're going to have a special contest on Loki because Loki debuts on Wednesday. We're going to have a special guest. Nick and his daughter Elle will be helping us out. So looking forward to that. And one last check of the comments before we go. And I think that's it. What?
I'll be going into Under Armour tomorrow, apparently.
No, this was funny. We published a story about this, and it was I worked there. Maybe I should read that article because I was unaware that is happening. So that was a fun moment that we had here at Laughing Place. So
and now I get to play my favorite part of the show, but don't go away because we'll be back with more right after. Jeremiah, where'd you go? What'd you get for your birthday?
Jeremiah.
I said we'd be back, Jeremiah, and I specifically wanted to talk to you about your birthday present.
He had to go. He has LP Movie Club coming up.
Clearly he didn't have to go since he didn't disconnect.
He knew you'd be signing off.
All right, so let me get a closer view at that birthday present. There it is on the wall.
It is gorgeous.
It is.
He tweeted it too.
Something about Indiana Jones, a ride at Disneyland.
That's what it is. He got it at EPCOT.
So thanks, Jeremiah, for showing off. Happy birthday. You can all disconnect now. I'm just going to leave this on here until something appears on the screen. A little audio commentary of Jeremiah's room.
You're so silly. Poor Jeremiah.
Bye.
Bye.